Well, this is Baruch Fleischman, and I want to thank you for joining me here. This is the month of Elul. This is the third Shaar that we're making here in Shaar, Hagilgulim, that is the gate of reincarnations. So Gilgulim really is in plural, remember that. And as I don't know how much we'll cover of this book in this 1 month of Elul, but we'll see that this is something that can occur and reoccur. We'll see how that goes. This is put out, of course, by the people from the Mata Pidavash, and for those of you who don't know what Mata Pidavash means, it means sweeter than honey. That's what it is, and it is indeed. Now let me bring this back up so we can see it a little bit. Let's come over here to where we were in yesterday's Shaar. I think we're right around here. So he talked about yesterday's Shaar and the Shaar before that even. He mentioned the concept that the soul is not so simple to understand. We're talking about reincarnation. What aspect of the souls are we going to be reincarnating? So here he says, like if Amar Odin, he says furthermore, a man does not merit at any one moment Bakachas kulon to take all of these different levels. Now, what the levels were again? From the bottom to the top, they're the level of Nefesh, which is the normal level of the spirituality that's with a human. Then beyond that is Ruach, and then beyond that is going to be Bina, or Neshama rather. Beyond that is going to be Chaya, and then Yechida, and beyond that, all these things need definition to be able to understand. But how do they work in return, in regards reincarnation? So here's what it is. So you don't get all of the levels, all the insides of the lights that are coming to you or represent you, whatever, would be at one moment. Rankafi Zuchuyosa, but it really depends on the amount of light that's inside of a person and the power within that soul. Really depends on the merits of the person. So the first thing is that you take one portion, which is really the lowest part, the Akad, and the little one, Shabbakulim. And which one is that? Vuhan Nikra Nefesh. So let's take this one. It's one, the Nefesh. This is the one that human beings are born with. But then after that, if a person does more Torah and mitzvahs, Yoser al Yidei Ma'asav Tovim. Why? Because he's doing good things. Yikach gam as a ruach, he take also the ruach that way. V'chem in yizka yoser, and then if a person merits more, yikabel gam as a neshama chay yechida, he can get all the way up to a tremendous level, which we might call another place a level of a tzaddik. This is a person who's a human being who's achieved great things. Because then he says ukamavur become a makoma b'sefer azor, which we see this talked about in the Sefer Azor. And he said, Mechem Parshas Vayechi, and of them is this particular parsha he's going to quote. Umehem Parshas Atruma, so that he's giving us site references here. Parshas Mishpatim, Daf Tzadidal Lamed Beis, particularly there. V'zel Shona. Now let's take that one. He says, let's see, quote it. See what it says. Tochaz, it says, come and see. Bar Nashkas Isyalid, when a person is born. Of a V'rei Kishanod Adam, so he said above a reg, so man is born. Yahavin le Nefesh. A Mavur, so what does it mean? They give him a Nefesh. He's born with this concept of a Nefesh. A Mavur Rishaman explains over the Kishanod Adam, when a man is born. Nosing lo Nefesh mitzad olam asiyah, he gets a Nefesh, and it refers to the world of action. Once again, the world of wheels, the world in which we live. That is, the Nefesh refers as the spiritual quality that is manifest in this world. He said, but if a person does Maisim Tovim, and he gets really involved and he's more meritorious, he could get the concept of the Ruach. Now, what is the Ruach? I'm not sure. Nefesh seems to me, like the working parts of the body and how the body has to work and how we have to deal with that. The Ruach has to do with our breath and our breathing and really the source, I guess, the receptacle for the Neshama. V'im zocha yoser, if a person is more meritorious, nosnim lo neshama b'tzad olam abriya, gets a neshama, and this refers to a higher level of the manifestation of the light of God, which is called olam, the hiddenness of bria. Im zocha yoser, but if a person is more meritorious, nosnim lo nefesh b'tzad the malchus, then he's given a nefesh from the side of malchus. Which malchus? The malchus the Atzilus, because this is already a place which is very close to understanding and being a part of, and the oneness, the Devegas with the Ein Sof Baruch Hu. And then it's also possible for a man to be able, because by doing good things, hatovim, the Yechida the Atzilus, he can even rise beyond the malchus of Atzilus, which is like the entry gate, so to speak, into Atzilus, all the way up to the crown of it, which is called the ARI of Atzilus. And then a person can become completed in the image of God. Think of Moshe Rabbeinu. And then he's able to have control in all of those alomos. What that means exactly, it's not 100%. Let's go on. So now that I've explained this to you, let me tell you this. I really have to let you know. Now. I got to give you some introductions here to the drush that we're going to mention here. So I'm not sure what he means, so let's see what this means. Inyan Nefesh Ruach Neshama. So let's talk about the Inyan of these different divisions that have to do with Neshama. And what we're talking about here, why are we talking about it? Because we're talking about reincarnation, and then we're saying, well, what is reincarnated? And they would say, well, the soul of one man goes into another. Now we just told you that there are 4 or 5 different levels of each soul. So let's see what he says. Inyan Nefesh Ruach Neshama, and then he adds Yechida, that idea. V'chaluka de Rabbanim Shuhu Levush Neshama, and then the Chaluka de Levana is the Rabbanim. The Chaluka is a garment. So they call it a Chaluka of the rabbis, but it refers to a light, which is a little thicker light, which covers over the Neshama, which we understand in the way the process of the light of the Ein Sof Baruch Hu is coming through us, that it comes through the mother, gives birth into the child, and that's this concept of this Neshama comes from the mother. It goes into the child, and it has a garment close associated with it. Chaluka de Rabbanan, that's what it's called, Shehul Devusha Neshama, which is a garment from the Neshama. Nizbar v'Inyane ba'orach b'Shaar Dalet. So this is explained in the 4th Shaar. Mishmona Sha'arim Shasidra the Maharshu, the 8 different gates that were put together by the son of Rabbi Chaim Vital, Rabbi Shmuel Vital. V'hu Shaar HaPesukim, which is also called Shaar Pesukim. B'pasuk umil cotton ta'azalo. So he says, and it's a pasuk, it says that you make this small garment for him. Shasham Mavur, so over there he's explaining this secret. He says, Shekadei l'kabel b'chinas ruach, in order for a person to be able to receive the idea of ruach. Now, ruach goes with Zer Anpin. Zer Anpin is a male force. So here we're seeing that the man, the human, is considered to be a female actor because they're receiving the light from the male. That's the receptacle. It can go back with different ways. So the male could be the female the male. It depends on the function. So what we're talking here is that in order to be able to receive this ruach, a person has to have a very solid nefesh. So what does that mean? Now, let's go over the words because it could be a little bit difficult to understand the concept. Now, Naranchi is an abbreviation for Nefesh, Ruach, Neshama, Chaya, Yechida. So we pronounce it Naranchi, and that's one of the things that the Kabbalists do, is they constantly are squeezing down the multiple words into Rosh Tables just for different ideas. So let's read what he said again. Ein shetzarek lehiyos shalom, b'kol chachamisha b'chinas the nukva the chasiya, and who's the nukva the siya? The nukva the siya is the malchus of Atzia. It's the female quality. So in that female quality of this extremely close place to the Ein Sof Baruch Hu, the tremendous Devekus there, he says there's a Neranchi in there. There's a Nefesh, Ruach, Chaya, Neshama, Yechida in there. So there also, you have to take it from the Zer Anpin to Asiyah. So now he's saying that like this. Even the Zer Anpin really refers to Olam Yetzirah, but he's saying there's this concept, if you can buy this, of a Yetzirah of Asiyah. So in other words, it's an aspect of Yetzirah, but it's manifest and reveals itself and acts in Olam Yetzirah, in Olam Asiyah, in the lowest world, in the world of action. V'chein b'ima, also the same thing. V'chein b'aba, all of these things. V'chein b'arich d'asiyah, all of these different aspects of Olam Asiyah have to be in order. V'oznik, and what is order? It means joined together in oneness. V'oznik nikra, and then they're called sheyesh lo nefesh shleimet d'asiyah. That's when a person, he has a complete, and the Kabbalistic phrase for this is a complete neranchi d'asiyah. So a complete Nefesh, Ruach, Chaya, Nefesh, Ruach, Neshama, Chaya, Yechida of Olam Yasiyah, of the world of action that we live in, Al Derek Zeh, in this way, who be Yetzirah, Ubriya, the Tzilus, the person is able to be in these places, in the Yetzirah and the Briya and the Tzilus, but often in a way like this. Shehem Kaf He Bechinas, Me'asiyah, V'kein Kaf He Bechinas, Yetzirah became Kafhe. So this is number 25. How is it 25? So he says like this: in Olam Asiyah, you're going to have a Neranchi, and each one of the Neranchi, which is 5, is going to have a Neranchi of its own. So you're going to have a Neranchi of the Neranchi. So therefore, it's going to be 25 and 25. There's 25 going to be in Asiyah, 25 in Yetzirah, 25 in Briya, and 25 in Atzilus. This is Baruch Fleischman. That's that little shear here. We'll see if we can understand it as we go on.